Are you avoiding having business meetings? In today's show, I'm going to give you some ideas, some tips, some tricks, some things you can do to make those meetings a little bit easier because unfortunately, a lot of businesses skip meetings, and we're talking about both internal operating meetings, but also important legal meetings like maybe an annual meeting, maybe a meeting required by an LLC operating agreement. A lot of companies skip them first just because they don't get them on the calendar. That's the first thing you can do is calendar your meetings, particularly those repeating annual meetings. Go ahead and get them on the calendar. Have somebody in your administrative staff following up, when the meeting's supposed to be, 60 days in advance, 90 days in advance, so that you can work with your legal team and prepare. So just getting meetings on the schedule is a great start. But what I find is a lot of companies avoid having meetings just because of the difficulty of getting over that initial burden of getting that meeting started and getting things going. And so they'll avoid doing these things just because they're cumbersome. Here's what I'm going to recommend. You're generally going to have, for an important meeting, you're going to have meeting minutes afterwards, right? You're going to have a record of the meeting. Or if you're having an internal meeting, maybe you're going to have an outline of the meeting. What I'm going to recommend is that you do that in advance. And so here's what I do with a lot of my clients is if we have an important corporate meeting coming up, I will sit down and frame up the meeting and put the minutes together before the meeting will happen. So we'll actually frame up what's going to happen at the meeting. Now, we want a real meeting and we want to have natural discussion. We want to allow things to come up, which is why we put everything in the draft form. And that allows either the board or the management team or whoever's meeting to actually have a meaningful meeting. And maybe we go way off of the script, and that's definitely possible. Other times we may know what we want to get done, and the meeting script may follow more closely. Which way it goes really depends on the circumstances and what's happening. So think about your meetings in advance, doing a little advanced planning, think about what's going to happen in the meeting, and even almost scripting that meeting, building the process of saying, this is what I expect is going to happen at the meeting, can be huge to getting over that finish line. Do you have questions about meetings in your business? Go ahead and drop them below. But remember, keep your questions and comments general, just ideas maybe you want us to cover in future videos, topic suggestions, etc. For specific, because it's not confidential. For specific advice on your exact situation, consult with an attorney because this is an attorney-client forum. Anyway, we can't give you legal advice over YouTube or whatever channel you're watching this on. So don't put the detailed stuff there, but general stuff, maybe prompts for future videos. We love it. For confidential stuff, meet with your attorney. And I hope you subscribe to the channel so we can have more videos together soon.